What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode. Woo! Man, what a game. What a freaking game. Man. Now, I know everybody feeling a lot of different ways right now, frustration, all that. But first, before anything else, I want to give a shout out Miami Heat. You went into Denver, Colorado, and you did something that nobody else has been able to do. You beat the Denver Nuggets on their home court. They hadn't lost since March 30th. It's the last time they lost in Denver or something like that. So you take a 1-1 tie back into Miami with an opportunity to maybe go up 3-1 or have it be tied at 2-2 or maybe you're down 3-1. It just depends. We'll see how everything happens there. But there's a lot to get into tonight. First and foremost, y'all, Swipa gang, make sure y'all hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell the people where you like to get your favorite Denver Nuggets content. But yeah, this was a frustrating game. For sure. The Denver Nuggets at one point got up 15 points, and it looked like they were just about to run everybody out of the gym. They were down by 11 in the first quarter. They started making these runs. Jokic, Murray, everybody. They started cooking. Bruce Brown, Christian Brown had an incredible extent. But, when you get an NBA Finals game and you got 4 different quarters, you're basically playing 4 different games. And so what's happening is that in the fourth quarter, the Nuggets have been able to be in a situation where they've been up 6, up 7, up 8, 5 minutes left, up 12, 5 minutes left, and you can kind of just maintain the game and close it how you want to close it. But today, the Denver Nuggets, they were up 7 going into the fourth. Jokic goes out, and I think the Miami Heat were on a 10-0 run. A 10-0 run at the top of the fourth. Duncan Robinson, I think, had 7 of those points all by himself. There's a lot of different things that happen. And then Jokic come back in the game, and they're down 3. And then basically from there, it's just like back and forth. And, the Nuggets were able to get the game back to where I think they got up 1, but then they weren't able to actually hold and maintain after that. Tonight, the thing the Miami Heat been doing all year, all playoff, man, they've been hitting their threes like crazy. And tonight, the Miami Heat, they do just that. They hit their threes. They shoot 17 of 35 from 3. 17 of 35, which is 49%. The Nuggets shot 39% from 3. They shot really good, 11 of 28. But 17 of 35, 49%. They shot 50% from 3. Yeah, for sure. That happens. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to beat a team. The Denver Nuggets, they lost by 3 points tonight. But the seminal moment was this. Jimmy Butler, had a decent game, 21, 4, and 9. He was a +3 in the game. Bam Adebayo had 21, 9, and 4. He was a +17. Gabe Vincent, 23 on 8 of 12 shooting, 4 of 6 from 3. He was a +22. Max Strus was 4 of 10 from 3, +14. Kevin Love, 2 of 6 from 3, +18. Kyle Lowry off the bench was 2 of 3 from 3. Martin was 1 of 2 from 3. Duncan Robinson, 2 of 3 from 3. Just 3-pointers all over the place. Duncan Robinson, really important minutes from him today. Bam Adebayo, really good game from him today. Again, made some more mid-range shots and all that stuff today. He shot 8 of 14 from the field. So everybody in their starting lineup, basically, outside of Kevin Love, shot about where you would expect. 4 of 10 from 3 from Strus is really good. Jimmy Butler, obviously 7 of 19. They put him in a lot of tough situations today. But again, they took care of business and they got a lot of shots in. Tonight, we'll get to Jokic in a minute, but just read through the starters. Again, the starters, this is how they played tonight. 26 minutes for Michael Porter Jr., 5 points, 6 rebounds, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. -15 tonight. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 6 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 of 3 from 3, 1 of 4 from the field, -14. Aaron Gordon, 12, 7, and 2, 5 of 7, 2 of 2 from 3, -7. And then Jamal Murray, didn't have the greatest shooting game that you would want, but Jamal Murray tonight, he was 18, 4, and 10. So had 4 rebounds and 10 assists tonight. He was 7 of 15 from the field, which is good. He was only 3 of 8 from 3 again, which is not terrible, but again, not what you want. 1 of 1 from the free throw line. He had 1 steal. He was a -2. And again, a lot of the reason why he wasn't in double-digit minuses was because of that second quarter unit when they had Bruce and CB and Jeff and AG, and they just went on a run and absolutely ran the Heat out the gym. And Jokic tonight has 42 minutes. He has 41 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists on 16 of 28 from the field, 2 of 5 from 3, 7 of 8 from the free throw line. He had 5 turnovers, but again, he was just trying to make passes all over. And then he was a minus 11. So there are some key things that happened today and some things that I pointed out on my Twitter that I think that were really important plays. So the first one, there's 4 that I listed. There's 4 plays that really changed the game today. There was a no call on Jimmy Butler stepping out of bounds on a Gabe Vincent 3. Jimmy Butler ran the baseline. Half of his foot was out of bounds, and he passed it to Gabe Vincent wide open. 3-pointers there. KCP, 2 different times today. He fouled 2 3-point shooters. I want to say they made 5 or 6 of those free throws, I want to say. I think it was 5 or 6 of those free throws. It was Max Strus when he just absolutely didn't. There was 0.7 left on the clock. Hit his arm down on his left arm. 0.7 points, 0.7 seconds on the clock. And he's 2-3 feet away from the 3-point line. It's a he. Fouls him anyway. No reason. He makes 2 of 3. And then Kyle Lowry, he steps underneath Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry makes all 3. The Nuggets lose by 3 points. So it's just little stuff like that, especially from your veteran. You can't have that. And then there was a clear missed goaltending. Jamal Murray went up for a lay-in. It was a floater. The ball literally, so if this is the bucket, the ball is about right here. So it's at that mesh point where it crosses the midway point, and it's starting to turn in and go down. And literally, bam, swats it. And I honestly thought that the refs were going to call it a goaltend, but they didn't. And then on top of that, I thought that when they went to the timeout, which the timeout happened because they couldn't stop the play, that they were going to go back and call it and say, like, here's your 2 points type deal. Because I know they've done that with stuff in, goaltending off the backboard before if they got it wrong. But they didn't. Nothing was said. Nothing was communicated. So for sure, that was definitely frustrating. And then there's also an out of bounds off of Strus that gets called on Joker. So what happened was there were 3 out of bounds, basically. One of them, Bam Adebayo, and Michael Malone swallowed the whistle. He didn't use a challenge in any of these situations, which, again, it's like third quarter, so it's a little early. But Bam Adebayo clearly hits the ball out, and Joker has one hand on it trying to corral the rebound. So typically, if you're trying to corral the rebound and bring it in, Bam is knocking away from his body. So Bam knocks it out of bounds. They call it out on Joker, and Joker obviously, it's like losing his mind. They didn't give it to him. No. And then it happens again down the court. And the third instance in particular was Max Strus. And so they're literally like in kind of this little scuffle for the ball, and they called it a turnover on Joker. But literally, like, Joker didn't, like, the ball goes through Strus's legs, and Strus knocks it out with the back of his hand, and the refs called on Joker. So again, back down, they get points. So there were just moments like that. But again, a lot of this comes down to if you don't take care of your business and you don't do what you need to do, then you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to find a way to get your execution correct. Because Duncan Robinson, and started the fourth quarter, it was Bruce Brown and it was Christian Brown. And literally, they were running Gabe Vincent and Duncan Robinson, and they were running these little, like, flare screens for each other. But instead of just taking the nearest man, they were getting confused. They were getting lost on these actions, and then it'll lead to a wide open Gabe Vincent 3, a wide open Duncan Robinson 3. And it's just like, bro, like, what are we doing? And then at one point, Duncan got all the way to the cup, ends up getting a contested lay-in over Jeff Green. So just really some simple stuff like that. There's stuff that Miami did that the Nuggets, maybe because they're not used to seeing their own offense, I don't know what it is, like, but they just really, like, down the stretch of the game kind of discombobulated. And again, a lot of that, Jokic was in the minus, but Jokic is in the minus because of the first half. So, and again, the Miami Heat starters, they just did what they were supposed to do. And then they went zone in the fourth quarter when they started to get a lead. The Miami Heat went up 3 and they went zone the rest of the way. Every time they made a made basket, they went zone. And that really changed a lot right there. They went zone, and they became very hard for the Nuggets to get Jokic the ball in the middle, get the two-man game going. They were settling for some threes. Now, again, they got penetration. The Nuggets were scoring versus their zone. Jamal went in, got a lay-in, and I think it was Bruce Brown got a lay-in, got a floater. Jokic scored a lot. I think Jokic scored 18 points. He scored 18 points in the third quarter by himself. Yeah, 18 points for Joker in the third quarter. But then again, by the end of the game, he ends with 41 and 11. And Jokic is now he's 0-4 in his career when he scores 40 or more points in a playoff setting. 0-4. So this is 2019 game. I think this is game 6 versus the Spurs. Yep, game 6 versus the Spurs. And then you have the game versus the Timberwolves. This is game 4. And then you have game 4 versus the Suns. And now you have game 2 versus the Heat. And it's a 1-1 series. This is going to be, interesting going back to Miami because Miami now has to split. They feel like they got a little bit of momentum. Now the Nuggets, they have not hit a wall. Let me not say that. But this is only the second time in the playoffs when they were tied up 2-2 with the Phoenix Suns. This is only the second time that the Nuggets were tied at any point in the playoffs. The Nuggets are now 14-4, I believe, 13-4 through the playoffs so far. So again, the Nuggets have been in this situation, but now you really have to respond. And in particular, a Miami Heat team that's very confident off the Celtics win. But on top of that, now they feel like they found something to be able to work with schematically, and now they can feel like they can rely on their zone. So this is going to take Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., especially KCP, Bruce Brown, Jeff, Christian, Aaron. It's going to take them being able to be true to themselves because oftentimes today they were getting really discombobulated because of the refs in the first quarter. I mean, they were complaining multiple times to the ref because they felt like the whistle wasn't going their way. And to be fair, there were situations where it felt like Jokic was getting fouled in the interior or they were getting ticky-tack calls on the other side. There was one in particular with Gabe Vincent where Jokic in the fourth quarter, Jokic is trying to dribble on the left wing and Gabe literally puts a chest into him and he falls backwards. And again, little guy falls on a big dude. It's a foul. And then Jokic got a frustration foul on the other side when he hit Bam Adebayo in the head. And again, Jokic had a play today. He had Bam Adebayo got 2 free throws today because he got a clear path foul because Joker fouled him instead of, if Bam gets the ball, he catches it. He has to then stop, spot up, and do what he's going to do. Then you can at least contest the shot as opposed to giving up 2 free throws. And so he did that. And so today, there were just multiple mistakes that the Nuggets made that, again, the reason I don't want to say they're uncharacteristic because the Nuggets have done this, but they weren't able to pull out the win despite those advantages that the other team had like they normally would have. But again, it's a game. The Heat, for sure, they proved that they belong here. But then on top of that, man, like I said, the biggest thing that I think people are having to reconcile with is the fact that the Heat, they shot 33% last game, and they shot 49% from 3 this game. And the free throws, were fairly even. The Nuggets shot 19 of 22 from the free throw line for 86%. The Heat shot 18 of 20 for 90%. The Nuggets only had 13 total turnovers. The Heat had 11. The Nuggets had 23 assists. The Heat had 28. So again, it goes to show you the off-ball movement that the Heat had. Rebounds, Nuggets won 38-31, 9 offensive rebounds to the Heat 8. And 21 personal fouls for the Nuggets, 22 for the Heat. So the disparity is that the Heat made 6 more 3-pointers than the Nuggets. The Nuggets made 1 more 2-pointer. Yeah, 1 more 2-pointer. They made 6 more threes. So there was a lot that kind of went into that. The Nuggets started the game. They started the game at down 2-10. And again, you felt like at some point in time they would be able to kind of turn through and get the momentum back, which they did, but they just weren't able to get enough stops in order to get it done. So for sure, extremely frustrating. Absolutely get that. And again, that's why I said, you definitely want to give praise to the fact that the Heat were able to do what they're able to do. Because the fact of the matter is that Duncan Robinson, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, they took care of business. And especially, I would say, the auxiliary players, the Gabe Vincents and Max Strus and Duncan Robinson, because them making the amount of threes they made today really ended up helping to change the tune. And the Nuggets bench tonight, Bruce Brown was a plus 14, Jeff Green a plus 12, and Christian was a plus 8. Now, played a little bit too long in that fourth quarter, but again, some of this is that the defense for the Nuggets was just getting carved up, and then they just weren't hitting enough shots like they needed to today. And again, the zone worked, but if the Nuggets don't make the mistakes around the edges like they did, then you win. And on the other side of that, when the Heat are making these mistakes, the Nuggets take advantage of them. But this is what it means to play basketball at the highest level. If you lose the margins, you more than likely lose the games in the NBA Finals. So, for sure, definitely frustrating. Like I said, Gabe Vincent was 4 of 6 from 3, Strus 4 of 10, Butler 2 of 5, and then you got Duncan Robinson was 2 of 3, Kyle Lowry 2 of 3. So Duncan Robinson and Kyle Lowry were 4 of 6 from 3. Gabe Vincent was 4 of 6 from 3. That's good. That's 8 of 12. Max Strus 4 of 10. 4 of 10. That's 12 of 22. So that's a lot of three-pointers. And that's a lot of perimeter defending that you have to do at a high level. And again, the real big ones, it's like you were in position to win this game. And I would even dare say you should have. But KCP made some boneheaded veteran mistakes today. Like boneheaded. You cannot give up 6 points off of fouling three-point shooters. It just, you can't do it. Way too hard at closeouts. Like, control yourself. Especially you. You're the veteran of everybody in the starting lineup. You cannot do that. You can't do it. And then you roll up under Kyle Lowry. That could have been a flagrant. Like, and then they would have had 3 and the ball. And then on top of that, you could have been in a situation with Max Strus where you just fouled him for no reason. So if you win, the narrative different, because now it's like, man, you withstood the barrage. But now you lose, you lost to the barrage. And it's the things you did that are small that ended up losing the game. And that's exactly what happened. So, Jamal Murray wasn't good defensively today. But again, Jamal had 18 and 10 tonight and 7 of 15, near 50%. So, yeah, I mean, you want him to hit some more shots, but he only took 15 shots. Jokic was 41, 11 and 4, 16 to 28, 2 of 5, 7 of 8. Like, that's a really good game. But, if his assists are going to be down that much, then that's definitely going to cause some problems. But that's mostly just because the shot making wasn't there on some of these assists. Because he passed the ball a lot. So it wasn't like he wasn't passing, but it's just continuing to get through. And then, the Kevin Love start too. They started Kevin Love tonight. And Kevin Love, like I said, 6 points, 10 rebounds, 2 of 9, plus 18. So he was 2 of 9 from the field. But he offered some size. He offered some physicality a little bit. And then he got 2 charges today. He got one on MPJ, and then he got another one today. And so, again, that's 4 points. It's a 4-point swing with both of those plays put together. So, for sure. Russell Martin, Swipa, Murray walks the ball up. It's way too much, wastes so much time, even on the final play. Final play. So, my estimation, could the Nuggets have called a timeout? Yes, they could have. But they didn't, because the same thing with the Orlando Magic game, if you remember that game. They were down 2 or 1. And literally, they were in a situation where they're like, all right, if they're in man-to-man, then let's see if we can get Jamal Murray, Jokic, 2-man game, get an open opportunity, an open 3-point opportunity. Michael Porter Jr. is in the corner. Let's see if we can get a really good look and we can close it out that way. And, I understand why Malone would trust him to do that, because they've done it so well. They've done it so well, but they just weren't able to get it done. And so definitely understand the frustration with that. But I think, again, those are things that you shouldn't be in that situation in the first place if you take care of your business. And the Heat have put people in the situation in the playoff where you don't take care of your business. They went up 0-3 versus the Celtics. The Celtics come back and they lose the series 3-4 because they were playing around and bad shot selection, all kind of stuff. The Bucks, they beat 4-1. And then the Knicks, they beat 4-2. So, I think the Nuggets are better than the Celtics. So, you go into Miami, you have multiple opportunities to win these games for sure. Because the fact of the matter is, now you have to, I would say you win at least one, if not both of those games. And the Heat are going to fight with everything that they have. The crowd's going to be into it. They're going to want to really, show up and show support. But again, you ain't got no choice now. And so, again, the best player in the series, Jokic, best player, best 2-man game, best team. But the guards have to figure this out. And Jokic has been beat 3 times in drop coverage. Again, not Jokic, the coverage has been beat 3 times in drop coverage to Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry has 3 3-pointers off of drop coverage. I just, at this point, there's no point in doing it. But Bam is such a good short roll player that they're having difficulty trying to find out, okay, like, where do we come up on Bam? Like, where do we find these actions? Like, overhelp. Do we let him get the short roll, all this other stuff? But again, yeah, absolutely. Give him the short roll. Because at the end of the day, the more threes they get up, the more opportunities they have to convert at a high level. So I would rather them not even do that. So I'm playing up on Lowry. I'm playing up on Duncan. I'm playing up on Struz. Jimmy Butler, I'm dropped. Easy. Because Jimmy Butler's struggling for three. And on top of that, you want him to shoot those jumpers. So the thing is, you didn't lose to Jimmy Butler today. You lose with a combination of role players for the most part. I mean, even Bam. Bam had 21, 9, and 4. But again, they just made threes all across the board. Even Caleb Martin, who didn't play well today. 3 points. He was 1 or 2 from 3. And offensive rebounds. I want to say on these 4 offensive rebounds today, the Heat got put ups on 3-point shots, and they all went in. Every single one of them. And so every time there was a long rebound, the Heat got them. And that is extremely problematic. And now the Nuggets, they get 2 days off, and then you got another game on June 7th. So you have a game day 5. You have 5 and 6, the 5th and 6th of June, and then June 7th, the Nuggets have an opportunity to go win one in Miami. Then they have another opportunity to go win one again on the 9th. So it's final time, baby. As simple as that. You got to get the job done. You got to play hard. You got to do what you need to do. You got to take care of business. And tonight, the Heat were better. They closed it out better. It's really that simple. For sure, refs, all that other stuff, a lot of mistakes, a lot of missed calls, especially Goldton, all that other stuff. But again, the execution, the switching that wasn't happening at the guard position, Duncan Robinson getting downhill, getting contested layups, KCP getting fouls on 2 3-point shooters, all that stuff adds up. And that's how you lose the game by 3. So that was a great game. Eric Spoelstra, great shot making for the Heat. Now, see how the Nuggets respond in the first NBA Finals in franchise history. I definitely have a lot of faith in them. I picked the Nuggets to win in 5. So, again, I think the Nuggets can easily go and win in Miami. But this time you got to do it. And I think this is the situation that you want to be in. You want to be in a tight series. You want to be in a series where you have to show how good you are. And you have to be able to prove it. And it's really just that simple. You got to go out and prove it every single day, every single quarter. And you can't play around. And then you have a lot of these mistakes. Then you're going to run into some stuff, y'all. But Swipa gang, I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Definitely not the result that you wanted. But, again, tied 1-1 going into Miami NBA Finals. Hey, it's time to get it done, y'all. So it's going to be exciting, y'all.